So today's not going to be a very in-depth video. It's more just me experimenting with the Pocket 3 because, you know, like with color grading, I'm not a professional colorist, so I'm always looking to people who know more than I to, you know, get ideas for color grading and LUTs. And I've been a fan of the Phantom LUTs for the last few years, but I thought I'd try something a little different. We have some trips coming up, and I'm going to be taking my Pocket 3, my Osmo Action 5 with me, and maybe I can just use this opportunity to test out some new color grades. So for today, I'm going to talk about a LUT pack that I downloaded from the Film Alliance, and basically it's like Fujifilm emulation LUTs for the DJI Pocket 3. So I'm going to be sitting here on my lanai. This is a red pillow, and I have my color checker. So for those of you out there who want to play around with making things like color accurate, this is for the color nerds out there, the color checker. But for me, I mean, I just put it there for you guys. I don't use this too much anymore. When I was shooting more commercial projects, I would use it a lot, but now I don't use it too much. So I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna read off of my phone about each of the LUTs in the LUT pack, and I'll kind of cycle through them, and I'll put like a description on the bottom. I will put the description of my settings on the screen here for those of you who are more visual learners, but for those of you who are auditory learners, I'll go through my settings on the Pocket 3 first. And of course, I'm shooting in 10-bit D-Log-M. We have manual exposure. I have a variable ND filter on this Pocket 3. It's at 5 stops right now. I have the ISO set as a range from 50 to 800, so it fluctuates between 50 and 800 depending on how the lighting changes, but the shutter speed is always at 1/50 because I'm shooting at 24 frames per second. Sharpness and noise reduction down to -2. I think they changed the names of those two settings. It's not sharpness and noise reduction, it's like image quality or something. But anyway, those two settings, -2. I do have the, what do you call that? The lens compensation on, so that if something comes close to the screen like this and comes back, there's not a lot of focus breathing. That doesn't really affect the color, it just affects like the amount that the frame changes when the focus changes. What else? I think that's it. D-Log-M, you just put these LUTs on, and the first one we'll talk about, not really talk about, the first one we'll put on here is called the Endura. So it's an Endura simulation. Now you know when people test these LUTs, they always like turn their head and stuff. Try to get different angles, testing the skin tones and whatnot. So I'll do that. I'll look around. Again, this is the Endura. Okay. The second one here is the Velvo. Velvo? I'm assuming that's kind of a play on the Fujifilm Velvia film stock. So again, this is Velvo. And I apologize. Where I live, there's a lot of planes that fly overhead, so you probably will hear planes. There's one right now. You know, speaking of the red pillows, I think I read this once, or maybe I saw it in a... Sorry, there's more planes. Of course, it's a day where there's the fighter jets coming by, which are the loudest. Any more? Okay, let's move on. Anyway, the next one is Nostafilm. Nostafilm. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but well, you can't see that, never mind. This, I guess it's like a nostalgic film kind of emulation. Which, by the way, you know I was talking about this red pillow? I think I read this once, that when people shoot Hollywood movies, they try not to have red, like a pure red like this pillow is, on screen because it's really hard for color grading. I don't know if that's true, but this is a very bright red pillow. The next one, moving on before the next plane comes, is C1 neg. I'm not sure if this is more like a classic neg or a nostalgic neg. I would say it's more of a classic neg in relation to the Fujifilm film stock. C1 neg. Okay, and the last one is Chromex. The simulation is Chromex. I assume this is like a classic chrome because it's again based on Fujifilm stocks. Chromex. And just for fun, I also added on I think it's like a VHS film stock, just because it was like a $10 add-on to the original $17 LUT pack that I picked up. So 27 bucks, I got, you know, the Fujifilm stocks and added on the VHS one. So if you like these LUTs, I'll link down below where you can pick them up from the Film Alliance. If you're unfamiliar with the Film Alliance, it's a really good YouTube channel. That's where I got my color grading ideas for my Sony ZV-1. It's kind of like a, what is that? Hang on, it's a plane. Plane. Should we just leave it on the VHS stock while the plane flies by? Yeah, so we're looking at the VHS LUT while the plane flies by. Anyway, as I was saying, I used the Film Alliance's idea to try to get S-Cinetone on the ZV-1. So there's like a bunch of settings that you could do to emulate S-Cinetone on like the cheaper Sony cameras. So I'll also link that video down below. But that's it for today. It is starting to rain and the rain's coming into Lanai. So I'll wrap it up and let me know what you think down in the comments about these Film Alliance LUTs. And as always, thanks for watching.